Hold up. Why do they doubt the kid? I'm about to prove them all wrong again. I got a low tolerance, cause they don't even know what the problem is. It's me. You waiting on the boy to fail, then hold your breath and face your death. Cause you play the roulette with each step I progress, no less. Go ahead and place your bet.
Welcome back, y'all. This is the Double M Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jesus Dinero, here with my co-host,
Puma El Gato.
What do we got going on tonight, my man?
Ryan Garcia foregoing the Rolly Romero rematch and instead is targeting Teofimo Lopez. Let's talk about it.
So we all know that there was the second Four Kings era. Back when everybody was at 135. We had Devin Haney at 135. We had Tank Davis at 135. We had Ryan Garcia at 135. And we had Teofimo Lopez at 135. And at that point, everybody was talking about, if these three mix it up, if these four mix it up, who's going to be the king, and this guy will beat this guy, and blah, blah, blah. And then eventually, nobody fought anybody. Eventually, everybody started moving on up. Ryan moved on up. Devin moved on up. Teo moved on up. Gervonta's still at 135. But everybody else moved on up. And then, everybody started fighting different people, going after different titles, so on and so forth. And here we are. Now, Ryan Garcia obviously at one point did finally fight Gervonta Tank Davis. He was the first one to do so. And then eventually he fought Devin Haney the first time. We all saw what happened there. So really, I said it back then, you got to thank Ryan for having these fights happen because he's really the one that broke the mold. I'm not saying Ryan doesn't have a bunch of faults. He does, but he was the one that kind of stepped forward. He severely weight drained himself to fight Tank Davis, and then he basically followed all the rules minus, of course, what we now know, that whole drug controversy with Devin Haney. So now we are here at the juncture where we are talking about a potential matchup between Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez. I like this match. I think this is a good match only because I wanted to see them fight at 135. Hey, listen, we can get it at a bigger weight. Not that big of a deal. I'm still down to see what happens between these guys. And listen, we've said this plenty of times in other videos. I'll say it again. It depends on what Teo shows up. It will depend on what type of fight we're going to get. Normally, I would say Ryan is going to take this only because I do feel like Ryan has just a little bit more. But listen, if the right Teofimo shows up, I actually think Teofimo is going to whoop that ass when it comes to Ryan. Ryan is very athletically gifted, fast hands, fast hook. And if the wrong Teofimo shows up, if the Teofimo that faced Kambosos shows up, he's cooked. Ryan is going to cook him. But I personally do think that Teofimo can whoop Ryan's ass, but again, if the right one shows up, we always know that Teofimo Lopez shows up to the level of his competition, so that would mean theoretically a good Teofimo would show up, the right Teofimo, the Teofimo that could win the match would show up, and that would mean, in my eyes, Teo would win. But unfortunately, too often I've seen Teofimo rest on his laurels, and unfortunately because of that, I do have to put a little bit of an asterisk right next to that, because even though I think Teofimo has all of the skills to be able to beat Ryan, it's a big if, unfortunately. It's been an if anytime Teofimo has really pushed the gun on who he's going to face. That being said, listen, I like the matchup. I'd like to see the matchup. I think it's a great matchup. I think it was a great matchup at 135. And I think because of those types of things, I think we could get a great matchup out of these two guys. According to Ryan Garcia, he didn't train almost at all for Rolly Romero, and we saw how that worked out. If true, which I kind of believe it only because his performance against Rolly was kind of weak. I feel like when Ryan shows up, I feel like he does well, and I didn't see any of that against Rolly, so I do kind of believe it. At the same time, hey, look, man, nobody told you not to train. That's your fault, big dog. So you made a mistake on that. So same concept. If Ryan doesn't take it serious, which apparently he didn't take the Rolly fight serious, we could see, Ryan potentially getting a KO against him. Listen, man, I'm always a little split when I see these matchups because normally I want to say that it's a 50-50 fight. But again, both of these dudes are proven at different junctures in time that if they don't come prepared, if they don't get in the right mindset, if they don't stop getting full of themselves, then unfortunately the wrong one shows up. All in all, man, I think it's a good matchup. I think Teo has a good amount of skills. I think Ryan has a good amount of skills. Put them together, I think it'd make for a great fight. Both of these dudes are proud dudes. Both of these dudes are dudes that live for the social media. They want to show off. They want to flex. They want to floss. All that shit. That being said, what's a bigger flex, a bigger floss, a bigger social media status than beating the other guy? So in this one, I'm going to go with Teofimo Lopez. I feel like Teofimo Lopez is a little bit better When it comes to the ring generalship, I feel like he's a little bit better with this punch output, punch pickup. He picks the right punches. So I'm going to go with Teofimo Lopez. Again, right now it's just theoretical matchup. It's just something that it's being talked about, but we're not 100% sure. But on that matchup, if the right Teofimo shows up and if the right Ryan Garcia shows up, I'm going to pick Teofimo Lopez to win that matchup. But what do you think about that, my man?
I'm split two ways about the trajectory that Ryan Garcia has been taking ever since the win over Devin Haney. Listen, if you told me the trajectory of what was going to happen throughout Ryan's career following that win against Devin Haney, I'd be like, nah, you're lying. It's not going to happen. But again, here we are. Again, he had the win against Devin Haney. He lost the belt to Rolly Romero, which I feel that should have been the actual next fight that should have been up Ryan's calendar. But apparently he's got other fish to fry, considering that he now has beef against Teofimo Lopez. And to be fair, we've been kind of seeing it ever since the ring card presser, where Teofimo Lopez, being the habitual line stepper that he was and just talking smack to absolutely everybody, I do think Ryan definitely has an axe to grind against the Teofimo Lopez. Now look, I'm split two ways about this because again, I feel the logical next fight for Ryan Garcia should have been the rematch against Rolly Romero to get the belt back. And again, I know Golden Boy thinks that there's more of a money in Teofimo Lopez, but my thing is, why isn't there more money in getting the belt back? Like, you think at the very least that would be a recrowning moment, another notch in the belt for Ryan Garcia. Why wouldn't there be more money in the rematch championship fight? But they said, no, Teofimo Lopez is our next fight. But at the very least, Ryan at least has heat against Teofimo Lopez. So I'm like, all right, cool. If that's where you think the money is, I'm not mad against it. Again, I think the logical step should have been Rolly Romero. But if you're saying there's more money in a Teofimo fight, I'm not mad about that. Only because it does serve to give evidence towards the agenda that Ryan Garcia is one of the few people in that division that's trying to fight absolutely everybody ad nauseum. And to be fair, if this fight actually gets finalized, you could say, yeah, Ryan Garcia does like to fight everybody, even if it comes out in not a favorable position, such as the Rolly Romero fight. He still doesn't really like to give any excuses. He's like, all right, if they want to fight, put up them gloves and get in the ring. He's absolutely one of those people that says, yeah, I'm going to fight everybody, title or no title. I'm coming after them. And to be fair, not my logical next step, but if Teofimo is really his next dance partner that he wants to go up against, hey, I can't be mad about that if he wants to go up against that. So if that's Ryan's decision, I'm at the very least, I'm happy for him. And to be fair, it could be a good matchup. As far as the 50-50, I do kind of agree with you. It depends on both of these fighters, what condition they'll show up when fight day comes. But I do think it's 50-50 for absolutely both of them. And to be honest, as far as the matchup is concerned, I'm absolutely here for it. What do you think about that?
Yeah, bro, I'm here for the fight as well. Again, I do think it would have been a good fight at 135, and I think it'll be a good fight now. I think both of these dudes bring enough name, notoriety, a good amount of skills. They both have a decent resume. The biggest one on both of their resumes, I would definitely say, is Lomachenko for Teofimo Lopez. But listen, if Ryan does fight Teo, he'll be the first one to actually face the other three kings of that era, of their time. Yeah, man, I know I've seen a little bit of video back and forth where Ryan's basically, I saw one, Ryan posted a video on his Instagram where he said, he was talking to Oscar on the phone. He said, Oscar, don't call me unless you have a fight that's going to get me 20 million. And listen, I'll be honest with you, man. You just took a loss. You just took a loss against Rolly Romero. And all due respect to Rolly Romero is not a big a name as a lot of these other guys that Ryan has already fought. So with all due respect to Ryan, man, he needs to be realistic about his expectations. And don't get me wrong, I know Ryan's used to getting basically everything that he wants. He's getting, the social media notoriety. He's a semi-famous. Well, okay, he's famous. He's a decent boxing name. But, that resume doesn't necessarily reflect as much as Ryan likes to talk. Again, I saw the video where Ryan said to Oscar, don't call me unless it's a $20 million fight. I think he might need to be realistic, especially because he lost. No disrespect to Teofimo Lopez, even though Teofimo Lopez is a big name, especially to the hardcore boxing fans. Amongst the casuals, he's not. Things of that nature make me think that Ryan needs to be realistic about the outcome. If I'm being honest with you, I think all these dudes, Trevante, Ryan, Devin, Teo, I think they're all a bunch of boxing divas. I think these dudes think too much of themselves, and I think they're flying way too high on their own BS. That to even compare them to the Four Kings is kind of a disrespect. To those guys, the Durans, the Hearns, all them dudes, I think it's just an outright disrespect. Sugar Ray, all those dudes. I think it's just disrespectful. But listen, they are who we are. We're here. And hopefully we can get some sort of action because, again, even though I am hesitant to really pick a name because both of these dudes have done dumb shit in their career and show up at really weird spots and weird locations in their career. I think that it's one of those concepts where if they both show up game time, I think they're both going to do great. It's going to be a great fight. It'll be interesting, man. It's still pretty close, even though I'm picking Teofimo Lopez to win that. It's still a damn close fight. I think they both have skills that could counter each other, and it'd be a great thing to watch. Hopefully they get it in the ring. Hopefully that match gets made. Hopefully everybody gets the money that they deserve. And hopefully we can get that going. But listen, we'll see what happens. Again, all these dudes are divas, so we never really know. You know, we might think it's going to happen, and something will happen last minute. So it is what it is, man. And with that, make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit. And
Until next time, get rest and stay blessed. We'll see you in the next one.